All right, hello kids, I hope you're all doing well. Again, let's get back to our weekly current affairs session. Now, we know for a fact understanding the new CLAT pattern will be going a little different from our regular current affairs session. Why? Because I want to discuss with you all the important days, the important activities, appointments, important news that is not only important in terms of current affairs but also static related, है ना? So understanding the similar scenario, understanding all of this in today's session, we'll be going through all of this. So in this week's weekly current affairs, what do we have? Now the first segment that we'll be dealing it with is with regards to your important days. Now what are these important dates? Let's try to understand four major dates, four major events that had been a part of this week precisely. League of Nations Day celebrated every year on the 10th of January. Similarly, Race Constitution Day celebrated every year on the 11th of January. Similarly, Russia's New Year. Okay, Russia celebrates it twice. So please make it a point. This is also one of them. So that is on the 14th of January. Apart from, see, try to understand guys that these events, these important days are apart from the cultural days that are celebrated in India. So don't get confused by it, because there may be some of you who may think that, you know, on the specific days there were quite a lot of cultural important events. We are not talking about them. We're talking about these activities, these dates. Similarly, 77th celebration of the Indian Army Day. Specifically, I've put it 77 so that you remember it. On the 15th of January 2025. This year, we celebrated the 77th Indian Army Day. Don't forget that. Moving on, let's quickly try to understand the appointments. Who are the important personalities who have been appointed this, in the last 1 week? Now, if you can see, we have four major appointments. Now, we have appointments with regards to Delhi Waqf Board. We have a special appointment with regards to ISRO's chief. Similarly, we have an appointment with regards to the president for the Athletics Federation of India, that is AFI. And similarly, you have one more important appointment with regards to the Revenue Secretary. Now, understanding this, please go through the specific profile of all of these people and the body for which they are, appointed, so that it will help you understand whatever you have studied or whatever you plan to study in terms of your current affairs. Now, understanding the same, you can see the IAS officer. Who is this person? Azimul Haq. Now, he has been appointed as the Delhi's Waqf Board CEO. It is very important for you to understand the same was signed and assented by the governor. Moving on, you have Dr. V. Narayanan. He is now the new chief or the head for ISRO as well as the space secretary. Understanding the same, you have the next person who is Bahadur Singh Sago. He is now the president for India's basically Athletics Federation of India, AFI. Moving on, the final one, Tuhin Kantha Pandey. He's again IAS, who is now been appointed as the Revenue Secretary for India. He has been from he's in the 90s batch. He was an IAS of, he's passed from the 90s batch. Similarly, please try to go through all of these things. Moving on, let's come to the next important news that we have had in this week. We have 6 major news to discuss with you all. So quickly understand these news. Whatever I'm going to give you will be some major pointers via which you can go in depth about those news. So let's try to quickly understand. The first news that we will be discussing is with regards to Animal Welfare Board of India and NALSAR. A very new, very recent, at the same time, a major concern, because our aim is for the legal entrance tests. It is important for us to understand this. Why? Because the institution also falls under the same. So, NLU Hyderabad, to put it this way, similarly, the Animal Welfare Board, they have signed a MOU. Now, what is this MOU regarding? Now, if you see this, that is Animal Welfare Board of India, it's a statutory authority. Now, this body and authority which falls under the Department of Animal Husbandry and Dairy, which is in the Ministry of Fisheries, Animal Husbandry and Dairy, that has entered into a memorandum of understanding with NLU Hyderabad, Nalsar University of Law, Hyderabad. Now what is this? This is between the collaboration of Nalsar, AWBI and Nalsar in order to help in providing specialized training, specialized legal training and education for the representatives, for the honorary applicants of the animal welfare representatives, HAWRS, okay? They with AWBI, where they participate in a 3-day event, okay, which is equipped with essential knowledge in animal welfare with regards to investigating, in with regards to laws, with regards to different techniques, with regards to all of this, and of course animal rights and animal welfare related subjects that will fall under this. Now if you see, the training will be conducted with a maximum batch of 25 participants and it will be for 3 days. Remember these things, minimum of 3 days. It can go of course a little more than that. Now moving on, understanding the next news. What do we have? Henley Passport Index this year, 2025. India's rank has dipped, okay? From 80th, now we are at 85th position. So it is important for us to understand this. Down from 80th in 2024, as I just mentioned, giving its holders access, free access or visa-free access to 57 countries. Similarly, now if you see, the ranks have been fluctuating since COVID time. So if you can see that there has been a fluctuation from highest being at the 71st position to the lowest at the 90th position, which was in the year 2021. That was due to coronavirus or COVID-19 restrictions. Understanding the same, this index, if you see, Henley Passport Index ranks 199 global passports, which covers 227 travel destinations. That becomes important because there have been a lot of times where the question like this has been asked. So you must be prepared for this. Now this is based on the number of destinations their holders can travel to without a visa. Okay, understanding the same, when you say without a visa, it is important for also us to understand top ranking falling at the bottom countries. Now in the top ranking countries, you can see Singapore, over the period of time, Singapore has had the high position in the top ranking itself. 195 destinations that, leading to this. Next you have followed by Japan. How many countries? 193 countries. Similarly, several European Union countries that you can see, and South Korea share the third position with 132 places. Now moving, 192 places, I'm so sorry. Next is what? Falling ranks. In the recent past, what have we seen? US, second to 9th rank. Similarly, United Kingdom, first to 5th rank. And finally, the bottom countries, we have seen multiple nations. Now in the current list, what you can see, Pakistan and Yemen that are sharing 103rd position. Similarly, you can see Iraq, Syria and Afghanistan. Of course, because of quite a lot of not only economic distress, but a lot of war-like situation that we have seen in these places. Okay, definitely these can be some of the potential impacts that we may observe in order to, seeing the ranking of the countries. If you remember, India's rank dipped during the COVID period. Why? Because we could see there was quite a lot of distress at the national front. Similarly, there have been quite a lot of distress in these places as well that may eventually lead to, dipping of the rank. Now moving on, what do we have next? Another important event, another important news that we can see is Sri Lanka to launch the first certificate course in Hindi on World Hindi Day. Okay, moving on, we will of course discuss one major thing. World Hindi Day is different from Hindi Divas. Okay, remember this, these are two different activities, two different events. First, let's try to understand this. Now, this was the first initiative. This has been coming for the first time, and if you can see, now this is to promote Hindi education in the country. Similarly, the initiative was launched in Colombia, which is in Sri Lanka, on the 10th of January. Now, this was of course on the occasion of World Hindi Day, as I told you, and the course was launched by the Bharat Sri Lanka Hindi Sammelan. Now, this was the event in which this activity, that is the first certificate course, was launched, and this Sammelan, basically it was a conference. Now moving on, the certificate course, as I told you, has been launched by the Open University of Sri Lanka. Okay, who is the body who is launching it? It is the Open University of Sri Lanka in collaboration with Swami Vivekanand Cultural Center, SVCC. Okay, remember this, the cultural arm of High Commission of India in Colombo. Okay, which is in Sri Lanka. Remember these things. Now, understanding the same, as I told you, it is different. World Hindi Day or Vishwa Hindi Divas is different from the Hindi Divas. If you can see, Hindi Divas is actually observed on the 14th of September. Don't forget that. And when I say 14th of September, it was a mark of adoption by the constitution, you know, the language, if you can see, Hindi language in Devanagari script by the Constituent Assembly of India, which then made it to an official language of the country. Okay, this is one event, this is one such remarkable day, is where we celebrate Hindi Divas, that is on the 14th of September, which is different from the Vishwa Hindi Divas. Alright, let's come to the next one, which is India to host 28th basically CSPOC in 2026. Now what is this? This event will focus on the use of artificial intelligence and social media in parliamentary process. What do we mean by this? Now basically this platform has been described as a space for enhancing cooperation and exchanging parliamentary practices among the member countries. It is very important for us to understand when was CSPOC established. So if you can read here, 1969 it was established in Lucerne. Now it is important for us to understand the Speaker of the House of Commons of Canada. Basically this is in terms of understanding the which is serving as a platform. It serves as a platform for whom? For the speakers and parliamentarians or the presiding officers of the Commonwealth Parliaments to promote impartiality, fairness and the development of parliamentary democracy. Okay, try to understand this. Similarly, if you see over the previous years, as you can see, India has hosted this in few of the years, that is in the 1970 to 71, 1986 and the latest was 2010, demonstrating long-standing commitment at the parliamentary dialogue within the Commonwealth. This time our aim is artificial intelligence and social media usage. It is very important for us to understand with the rise and growth of AI, of course. If you see, India reinforces its role as a leader in integrating technology with governance. This is what also they mention. At the same time, it is also important for us to understand, as we want to become one of the global leaders, we want to get into the market where we are fighting with the developed economies. That is where we want to be in the position of hosting such activities. Okay, now moving on, what do we see? Fifth major event, Mount Ibu erupts in North Maluku, Indonesia. Now what is this? This is one such news which is with regards to your static information as well. It is very important for you to understand. Now this, which is situated in the North Maluku, Indonesia, if you can see, it was erupted on the 11th of January 2025, which started sending ashes, basically ash cloud ups to 4,000 meters high and ejecting glowing lava up to 2 kilometers from its crater. Now it is important, of course, there has been a statutory warning and the authorities have started evacuating the nearby areas as well. But coming back to this, if you can see the date and time of the event, as I just mentioned, January 11, 2025, the time was 7:35 p.m. the local time of Indonesia. At the same time, what you can see, the duration, it was approximately somewhere around 3 minutes and 5 seconds. Okay, now more importantly, if you can see, it has exhibited, this Mount Ibu has exhibited multiple, volcanic activities since June 2024. Okay, with, if you can see, with some days experiencing as many as 70 eruptions, which is a major concern. Okay, if you can see, Indonesia is situated on the Pacific Ring of Fire. Now study this ring of fire without fail, making it one of the most volcanically active regions across globe. This is very important for us to understand. And similarly, Mount Ibu is amongst the 127 active volcanic countries in the world. Now moving on, understanding the final news, which is by IMD. This year, rather not this year, the immediate past year, year of 2024 was considered to be one of the warmest years. So if you can see, World Meteorological Organization declared 2024 to be the warmest ever since measurements began. Okay, so the year of 2024 was the warmest for India as well, as we can see. That was announced by IMD. Now what is IMD? IMD, or the Indian Meteorological Department, was established in the year 1875. 1875 becomes a major year. If you can see, it is the country's National Meteorological Service and the main government agency that that manages all the matters related to meteorology. Now if you can see, there are 6 regional offices. There is one headquarter which is in New Delhi, of course. But what are these 6 major offices? Mumbai, Chennai, New Delhi, Kolkata, Nagpur and Guwahati. Okay, these are the major places where you can see the regional offices. Delhi is the headquarter, and currently it falls under the Ministry of Earth Sciences. It is very important for you to understand this. Coming to the end of today's session, I want you all to go through all the news in depth, understand whatever I've discussed, make definitely some detailed pointers of it, and I'll see you in the next video. Till then, bye bye, take care and all the best.